Morning, sir. Are you Mr. Jackson? I'm Detective Inspector Bruce. This is Detective Sergeant Norris. We'd like to ask you a few questions regarding your wife's disappearance.
But I've already spoken to Constable Barrett.
Yes, we know, sir. But now we're on the case. So, if you wouldn't mind.
My mum says that Mr. Jackson used to make his wife clean the car every weekend, and then he used to inspect it afterwards.
How did your mum know?
Well, her best friend lives over the road from the Jacksons, and you won't believe this, but Mrs.
Don't stop on my account.
We were just talking about Sandra Jackson.
Well, you do surprise me.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You never talk about anything else.
Well, it's interesting.
Well, it's none of our business. We shouldn't be spreading gossip.
Oh, sorry.
Has your wife ever left home before without telling you where she was going?
No, never.
Does she have any financial means of support?
What do you mean?
Her own bank account, that sort of thing.
No, only our joint account. And she's not taking any money out of there, I've checked.
Did she take any clothing with her?
Well, I don't think so, but I can't be sure. She's got 2 wardrobes packed to the brim. Half of it she doesn't wear.
I see. Can I assume you have a good marriage?
Yeah, we have.
Argued?
No more than most.
And what about last Wednesday? It was the day before you reported her missing.
Yeah, I know. We had a few crosswords, nothing much.
That's not what we've been told.
Oh. Who you been talking to? Need I ask? The neighbours, isn't it? They've got nothing better to do than stir up trouble.
Now, we heard you and your wife were having a good old Barney, which lasted for more than an hour. And then it went quiet. Is our information correct?
We had a disagreement, that's all.
What about?
Sandra had been shopping. She came home, and we made dinner, and I suggested that we have it on our laps in front of the telly, so I could watch a gardening programme. She knows how much I like it.
Like what?
The gardening programme. Well, I wouldn't mind, but she hates cooking. So we had a row.
Over what to watch on the box?
Well, doesn't everybody?
How was it resolved?
It wasn't. She went upstairs in a huff. So I went down and did some weeding at the allotment. That's the last time I saw her.
Well, didn't you see her before you went to bed?
We've got separate bedrooms. She's a light sleeper and I snore. It's the only way either of us can get a decent night's sleep. We don't sleep apart every night.
You know, there is so much to do first thing in the morning. I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Do you know, I feel like I've done a full day's work before I've even arrived, what with getting Kieran ready and making sure he's got a change of clothes and... I'm sorry, I must sound like a right whinger.
No, not at all.
Oh, that's enough of me. How's things with you?
Oh, pretty good.
Weren't you going to see your mother?
Yes, I saw her yesterday.
How did it go? Oh, if you'd rather not.
No, it's fine, really. No, we talked things over. Yeah, went well.
That's good. You must be really pleased.
I've been doing a lot of soul searching recently, and I've realised that I really haven't got anything to complain about. My adoptive parents gave me everything. I had a happy and loving childhood.
But it can't be easy for you now.
Oh, I didn't say it was easy. But these things happen. You have to accept that. Time moves on. You have to know when to let go of the past. Can't let it drag you down. That's what I say.
Have you got a minute?
Sure. What's the problem?
The police want to see me about Sandra Jackson.
Why?
I saw her here at the surgery a few days before she disappeared.
Just be careful about what you say.
Well, that's the point. I don't know how much information I'm allowed to give them.
How long's Mrs. Jackson been missing?
Nearly a week. They want to take a look at her clinical file, see if it gives them any clues.
That's out of the question. If they want to see that, they have to apply to the courts.
Well, what can I tell them?
Just the bare facts about any relevant medical conditions, no more.
What do you mean by relevant?
Well, for instance, if she suffers from epilepsy or diabetes, I think I'd tell them. She might need medication and it would be in her best interests.
What about depression?
Difficult. Depends on how serious you consider the depression to be and what her state of mind was when she saw you. But be careful, that's all. You're giving out information without a patient's consent. Before you say anything, think about the implications. Yep. Yeah, fine. Make it my first call. Mr. Jackson's mother just called. She wants me to go round and see him.
Mum,
Still no Mr. Saltberg? You all right?
I'm worried about Helen.
Why?
Well, she's gone to see Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, I know, so?
I think someone should have gone with her.
What for?
Well, she's on her own.
I'm sure that Helen could look after herself, if needs be, which I doubt very much. Katrina, you shouldn't cast aspersions on an innocent man.
Who says he's innocent?
I hope you'll forgive me. I'm having to cook for myself at the moment. She shouldn't have done it.
Who?
My mother. If I'd been that bothered about myself, I could have easily come down to the surgery and save you the trouble.
She's concerned about you. She said you're not sleeping.
She fusses over me. I'm all right on my own. That's something else that got on Sandra's nerves.
It must be a very worrying time for you.
It is. It's very upsetting. But at least the vegetables are fresh from the allotment. Sandra always appreciated that about it.
Kate, I haven't got Gerard Sim's phone number, have you?
It's in the diary. Not another golfing weekend, I hope.
I just wondered if he was free tomorrow night.
What do you want to invite Jared for?
For Jude.
You're not serious.
Decent bloke, reliable, very good golfer. She could do a lot worse.
He must be 50 if he's a day.
He's younger than me.
Most people are.
Take 2 half an hour before bedtime. Can I write you a certificate for work?
No need. I was made redundant 6 months ago. It's funny, really. I thought it'd be nice for me and Sandra to be together more often, but all we seem to do is row.
I suppose she's used to having the house to herself.
No, maybe. You know, in a way, it's nice not having her here moaning at me about always getting under her feet.
You must be worried about her, though.
Of course I am. And if she was here, at least it'd stop all the tongues wagging. You don't know what it's like living around here. You're always being watched. They didn't see what happened to Sandra, though, did they? They must be losing their touch. Sorry, won't be a tick.
I was going to come round last night, but it was a bit awkward. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. You mustn't worry about me. Look, love, it's not a very good time. I've got a visitor. I'll call you later.
Well, make sure you do.
Do you know any nice restaurants? It depends on how much you want to spend.
Well, I can afford to splash out a bit. I definitely don't want to end up some old Joe's caff.
Shouldn't Ben be paying for this?
Oh, yeah, but he always pays, and, well, I just want to surprise him and make it my treat. Anyhow, give it some thought for me. Great. Mrs. Gregg, do you want to come with me?
Thank you for coming in, Dr. Kwame. Hopefully this won't take too long.
That's okay?
I'd like to ask you a few questions about Mrs. Jackson. We understand she was one of your patients.
Yes, she was.
Mr. Jackson showed us his wife's diary. On the Tuesday before she was reported missing, she had an appointment to see you at 4:30. Is that correct? And Mrs. Jackson kept the appointment.
Yes, she did.
Why did she see you, sir?
I don't want to come across as difficult, but, and I really want to help, but I'm not feeling comfortable about this.
I wouldn't expect you to be. But it would assist the police inquiries if you could help.
She was depressed.
Had she seen you before for this?
No, it was the first time.
So, what was the nature of her depression?
Why does anyone get depressed? Sometimes you might be able to underline a cause such as with a bereavement, but most of the time it's a condition, a state of mind that just takes hold.
How depressed was she?
It's very hard to say.
Try.
She was tearful, not sleeping well, feeling miserable. That's about all, really.
Have you any idea why she was tearful?
And things were getting her down. She was under a lot of pressure. Talking about it brought on tears. It's natural.
How long was she with you?
10 minutes, maybe more.
Did you prescribe any medication?
Yes, a mild antidepressant. I told her to come back in a month's time.
Mrs. Jackson's file. Can we see it?
I'm afraid that will not be possible.
It would help us with our investigation.
Well, you have to apply to the courts for an order.
I thought you said you wanted to help.
I've told you as much as I can.
Oh, if you're still looking for a restaurant, I've got something for you. The food's lovely, but it's not cheap.
Oh, I don't care what it costs. Ben's worth it.
But it's you he's interested in. I'm sure he'd be just as happy with a takeaway and a bottle of plonk.
Yeah, but it's not what I want. I know it sounds corny, but I really want it to be a night to remember. This relationship means a lot to me. Thanks for this. Mr. Evans, which one come through?
Linda Sharman.
Sorry, which room is Dr. Hamada's?
Just through there at the end.
Thanks.
So, what's the problem?
Morning sickness.
I'm sorry I couldn't have been more help.
Oh, but you have been, Doctor. Little snippets of information go a long way in this line of work. Have you ever treated Mr. Jackson?
Yes, once.
What for? Sorry. Can't blame me for trying. Thanks.
Is your partner looking forward to the new arrival?
I'm not sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pry.
No, it's okay. It's just that it's not a very good time for me at the moment. And this is probably going to make matters worse. But that's not to say I don't want it. Because I do.
Any luck with the matchmaking?
No, not yet. Still, a few friends left to try.
Try for what?
Oh, to get Jude a partner for the party. I'm beginning to wonder if it's such a good idea.
I thought you were all for it.
Oh, I am. It's just that most of his friends aren't far off drawing their pensions.
What was that?
Nothing.
All right.
How did it go at the police station?
Oh, okay, I suppose. How was it with Mr. Jackson?
Oh, apart from not sleeping, he seems to be coping well.
Not concerned.
Not that you'd notice. As I was leaving, he said he was off to his allotment. Might be his way of dealing with things, but then again, I'm not so sure.
Guess what I've just heard?
Put us out of our misery.
My mum's friend told her that a cleaner at the police station says that they're going to dig up Mr. Jackson's allotment. What do you make of that, then?
Well, it'll save him the bother. Katrina, one of our patients is missing. It's not something to be taken lightly. Good night.
Who says it is?
Ben's right, though. We should be more professional. Oh, Carly. Linda Sharman. If you don't mind my asking, why did you see her?
Why the interest?
Oh, just curious. I saw her at Mr. Jackson's house. I couldn't help wondering.
Morning sickness. She's 8 weeks pregnant.
Good morning. You're bright and early. What's the name, please?
Terry Jackson. I'd like to see Dr. Kwame.
Your name's not on the list.
Well, you'll have to put it there then, won't you?
Mr. Jackson, would you like to come through?
No offence, Dr. Thompson, but it's your Dr. Kwame that I'd like to see.
He's busy and you're my patient now. What's the problem?
He's spoken to the police about my wife.
I know.
Well, who said he could? That's what I want to know.
In certain circumstances, doctors are asked to release relevant medical information. It's not something we do lightly. Patient confidentiality is only breached in exceptional circumstances, and your wife's disappearance falls into that category. I'm sorry, but we have to act in the best interests of our patient.
I know she saw him. His name was in her diary. I thought she saw him about, well, you know, women's things, and now I'm not so sure. What did she see him for?
I'm not allowed to say.
Well, you told them, the police, complete strangers. I'm her husband. I've got a right to know.
Mr. Jackson, I know it must seem unfair, but I'm really not permitted to say.
The gossip